when everything first went away, it was only one time I wish God would just have someone come in my life and just fix it. I'm glad that that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because it kind of shows you that you can get yourself out of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I would have gotten pulled out of my situation by somebody else, I would be back in this situation.
Because you didn't learn from it. Yeah. When you put forth the effort in life, I really feel that the universe will get out of your way. Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to our channel if you enjoy our content. So today we have another email that was sent to us, and I'm going to read that. It's from a subscriber. Thank you for the email. We appreciate it. She titled it Struggling. She did ask that we don't say her name, so that's fine. Again, if you guys ever send us any emails or topic ideas and you don't want your name mentioned, then that's perfectly fine. Just let us know. We always ask first before we go and just start
putting people's names.
Yeah, right. Right. So anyways, I'm just going to read her email and then we'll move on. All right, she titled it Struggling. She said, "Hi sisters, I just came across one of your videos about having to start over. I'm now in a very similar situation and around your age. I was happy to see I wasn't the only one. You two have handled it very gracefully. I find myself very embarrassed. How did you mentally move forward? Because I find it difficult. Thanks for being so transparent in that video." So if you guys have no clue what she's talking about, she's talking about our first video. If you guys have not seen that video yet, I will link that video above me, and you guys can check that video out. It's basically us just sharing our story. But like a quick synopsis of it is that if you didn't know, we lived in New York for 10 years, and we moved back home to Indiana. A lot of things got really messed up, kind of spiraled downhill. We ended up being homeless and broke, and just a lot of things happened within that time, and we
just had to start over.
We had to start over, basically. So she's referring to that, and she's saying she's now going through that. She's asking us what we do mentally, and I had a little bit of a conversation with this woman, and you know, it was a financial thing for her too. She messed up financially, and then you know, it led to her having some problems. And what do we do? Move forward mentally. And I just really want you to know that when this first happened, we were not like, it wasn't this immediate, you know, no weapons formed against us shall prosper, and it was not, you know, positive self-talk. It wasn't any of that at all. We were, I know I can speak for myself, but I was very, what's the word, stifled, and I was really paralyzed. Like, losing everything and having to start over when you're approaching 40 is a very sobering feeling, and so it wasn't a very easy thing to go through. So I don't want you to think that because you said that we were mentally, you like how we've handled it gracefully, and I think that came over time, but it was very difficult to do that. So just know that you're not the only one. And it was really, really hard. One of the first things you kind of have to do is kind of leave your ego. Your ego is going to have to exit the building, because if you're all into your ego, it's going to stop you from moving forward, because you're going to always be, like you said, you're embarrassed. So it's gonna make you not want to move forward and kind of hide, right? And I think that you're in that stage right now where you're embarrassed, right? And I get that, because there's that moment where you don't want to do anything. I personally, like, to give you an idea of how stifling all this was for me, like, I did not want to even make another move in fear that I was going to mess up more and then do something else wrong and make it even worse. So I really didn't like, and I don't want you to take this long getting back on the saddle, but it took me a long time to even mentally get to that place, and I don't want that to happen for you. But I think the reason why it took me so long to get back mentally is because I really was embarrassed. And, you know, moving back home, and then in an area where we went to school at. So of course, remember, we used to walk to the store. We used to walk to the store because we wanted to save money, and people that we knew would see us walking to the store. Like, just imagine, like, just picture that. You know what I mean? People will see, and it's embarrassing.
For me, I didn't want to. I just didn't want to start over.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I know why. It's because I was saying because why you were saying that it was so hard for you to.
Oh yes, okay.
And so the reason why it was hard for me to start over is because I just didn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I was almost. I'm still 38.
Yeah, we were like
around there.
30. Yes.
You know what I mean? And
well,
I feel like I had a working life,
mm-hmm.
and I didn't have any money, and I just didn't feel like starting over.
Right.
I didn't feel like being in the city. I didn't feel like being around my family.
Yeah.
To be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
I didn't really feel like being around anyone. You know,
right.
And so that in itself was the reason why it took so long.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't want to start again.
Right. It's
you know.
Yeah.
You don't. I think right now, since coronavirus happened and so many people gotten kicked out of their houses, that a lot of people are starting over.
Yeah. A lot of people.
You know, that's why they're getting stimulus checks and things like that. There's still not enough stimulus checks, but a lot of people are finding themselves in positions where they have to start again now.
Yeah.
They live in hotels. A lot of people live in hotels now.
Yeah.
You know, when you don't have a job, or you're trying to find a job, or you've gotten a divorce, or you know lost a lot of money all at once. You know, you file bankruptcy, something like that, then you have to begin again.
Right.
And for someone in their 20s, that's one thing.
Yeah.
For someone in their 30s or late 30s, that's another thing, because now you're a little just more settled in your settled time in life. You're starting to want to settle down and not start all over like a 20-year-old.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like when the trajectory of your life, I'm not sure how many people that something's massively changed in your life, but when the trajectory of your life massively shifts, and it's abrupt, it's like you don't know what to do. It's like you really don't know what to do, and I think like looking on it now, like I feel like everything happens for a reason. They say that for a reason, 'cause that's true. Everything happens for a reason. You have to really accept what you did to your. I mean, like take accountability. Is what I'm trying to say for your situation.
I wasn't blaming anybody. I wasn't blaming one person.
Yeah.
I was just really upset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can say that. I can say I wasn't mad at anybody. Not anybody specifically. I was really just mad at myself.
Right.
I mean, and I knew that in my depression. I knew that. I wasn't mad at my mom. I wasn't mad at some man. I wasn't mad at anybody but myself.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I think that really, at the time, it felt like it was depression.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be in that space. I didn't realize that actually being mad at myself was probably the best anger to be mad at than someone else.
It's like I think what I'm trying to say is tell the truth to yourself of your life, because I don't think I was telling the full truth to myself. Like for instance, losing. You don't just. I mean, it's very rare someone just loses their money just out blank. It's gone. So when I started telling the truth, this is when I started changing my mentality. Is that I started to say, okay, so what happened to make this happen? You know, and what went wrong to make you become homeless? Like how can that happen? And the way it happens is that it was already happening. Like it was already going on. So when we were in the situation, I remember saying for the first for a while, for like a year or so, I was like, oh, you know, I just went broke. You know, and we're like, no, you were already going broke. Like even when we had money, like I wasn't spending the money right. So I was already going broke. So I think telling the truth of whatever your circumstance is, and then taking accountability for that's like one of the most important things, because it's going to help you not look at everybody and everything else. You're going to have to get over that part of it, the embarrassment part of it. It does get really embarrassing, but I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it also depends on the kind of person you are. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody doesn't handle disappointments the same way. It depends on your personality.
Yeah.
Me and Danielle went through the same thing. We dealt with it differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For me, like I said, I dealt with it in a way that I think that's why I was probably the most depressed.
Yeah.
Outwardly. Right. Because I really was mad at myself. I knew that I overspent money. I knew that I didn't have, you know what I mean? So I didn't feel like I was just broke or anything. I just felt like I just did not do the right things.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so for me, I think that made me more mad at me and made me more sad. Also, I'm also a private person, so I don't really like to share my feelings with people when I'm really upset. And I also don't want to run into people, not just for embarrassment, but just because you don't want to talk about it with people. I'm not someone who cries on people's shoulders.
Yeah.
So some people are. Some people are very, I don't know the kind of person that you are, but some people are very much, they want to talk to people, they want to ask for money. I don't do that. I don't know how to ask people for money. I don't know how to ask a man for money. I don't know how to ask friends for money. I don't even ask my family for money. You know what I mean? And so for me, just having to get help.
Yeah, because we were very, the thing is that Kara and I are very self-sufficient people, right? We're very self-sufficient, we're hard workers, all that stuff. So this happening was really, it just, I think it just kind of threw us off altogether. Like, just the world that you knew before was no longer, and now you're having to look at things like shelters. Like, thinking about that was like, what? I can't believe this would happen to us. But, I mean.
But the only reason you're embarrassed is because it's new.
It's new, yeah.
Anytime you do something you don't know how to experience.
You want to go hiding.
Or you just, it's scary. It's like jumping out of a plane. If you did it 30 times, it's not scary.
Yeah.
But if you do it the first time, the idea of it is terrifying. You know what I'm saying? If you've not dated in a long time, the idea of going out with somebody is terrifying. But if you date all the time, it's just another day. So if you're someone who just suddenly lost everything, or you knew it was coming and now it's just gone, you know what I mean, which is still sudden for some people, then it's going to be scary. I think that these things happen for a reason. I can't say that I felt that way when it was happening, but
in retrospect,
right? I mean, I found working out, which changed my perception because, I mean, literally, I wasn't like working. It was like 20 minutes on a treadmill that changed my whole thinking process. Because you move forward. That, you know what I mean? And I don't even know why people always say like, "Were you trying to lose weight?" No. I really wasn't. I was really just wanting to do something else besides be sad.
Right.
I actually felt clearer. And I think because your body releases tension and toxins. And I had no idea, like, that would happen.
Right.
That would be the reason. And that kind of thing kept me working out. Like I still do it today. I mean, it's been some years now. I still do it today, but it always clears. I think I told you earlier. Like, it clears me mentally. It makes me think sharper. It makes me more forgiving, more open. And I'm not a person that likes change. But when I do something like that, where I can clear out my mind, then I'm more acceptable to new things coming in my life. I'm more acceptable to the fact that life is like ever changing. What do they say? Every 7 years, like the cells in our bodies and stuff get destroyed. We're actually a whole nother person.
Right.
In 7 years, like our whole body's different. So I just think that we're changing even if we don't think we are.
Right.
You're gonna change. Your life is gonna change. Your looks are gonna change. You know what I mean? So you have to these things are to help you. It doesn't feel like it. But these things are to help you because after losing weight, then came the fact that I just wanted to change. I started saving money. I never did that in my life. I made more money, way more money than I have made, here. I was basically on minimum wage here. And so I used to say to myself all the time that, working in a minimum wage job, you can't save, but you can. And I did. And it changed another part of my life changed because now I don't want to talk about my finances, but I mean, but it's changed my life. You know what I mean? Because now I realize through that discipline, discipline of working out changed my body. The discipline of money, saving money and paying my bills on time changed my outlook on finances. You know what I mean? And so it's like all the areas that I was really not good at in life all started to one by one show up and show me where I needed to work.
Yeah, because I always feel like when something like this happens to people, like something that's crazy like this happens, I really think it's happening for you. And my theory on this is that sometimes there's things that you just don't look at in your life that you are messing up on, or you're not paying attention to. And I don't know if you believe in a higher power, but whatever your higher power is, or just the universe in general, will start to delete things from your life so you can pay attention to something. So I think that I just wasn't paying attention to something. You know what I mean? And then to get my attention, this had to be the one of it. You know what I mean? Even when it comes down to men and dating, like the man that I was supposed to be marrying was not the right guy. But I wasn't paying attention to that. I was just, ready to get married because I was in my 30s, and move on to that part of my life. I wasn't paying attention. And that got deleted. out of my life. I just think that little by little things go away, but it's for a purpose. It's for a reason. And sometimes you really do have to. Everything has to be broke down to build it back up. Because if you're already working on a shaky foundation, I always feel like it's not gonna pan out anyways. It's gonna fall anyways. So sometimes you have to just hit like a rock bottom, so you can build back up to what you're supposed to be, your greater self, whatever that is, your greater self. And I wasn't being great before. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't being at my full Danielle potential, what I could be. You know what I mean? I wasn't doing that. I was just kind of going through life. I was doing it comfortable. Okay. But as for, like, living, like, I didn't feel like I really was living life. I feel like something had to happen.
No,
Something had to happen.
I was always a person that always wanted to look good on the outside.
Yeah,
because I'm not someone that asks for help.
Yeah.
That leans on people.
Right.
I don't do that. So it's just like, and I still haven't. I really haven't. You know what I mean? It's very hard for me to do that. But I don't know. I'm not someone who's a religious person. I don't go to church.
Right.
I don't really believe in organized religion. I don't know if you do. If you do, then use it. But I do think that there's something bigger than all of us, that and why we're here. So and I think when you're in those times, you do get in that space, and I think it is because you are in a place where kind of the universe got you.
Yeah. And now what?
And now you can sit there,
When you're stripped down to nothing, you kind of have to figure that part of it out.
And you do have to kind of face your fears. When I had to walk to the store, I remember that was the hardest.
That's why I brought that up.
That was one of the hardest things for me, only because that's one of those things where everybody's going to see you, and so you have to you have to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to that's not a fact. It's not a problem for me now, but when it happened, it was. Anytime something scares you or makes you afraid, you really do have to face it, because then it controls you a little bit. And I don't like being controlled.
Most people are afraid.
Even though I didn't want to do it, my natural instinct of wanting to be kind of in charge of my life kicks in. The things that we don't want to face are the things that actually control us. And this is why things like Facebook and social media can be kind of should be downplayed at this time.
Yeah.
It's because it's geared to make you not face your life real. Like, a lot of people put their fake life up there, especially when they're at the worst time in their life.
Yeah.
Because they want to succeed. They want to seem successful to everyone else.
Yeah, because you want everybody to look at you a certain way.
But more so than any other time in your life.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen women who get divorced, all of a sudden they really want to be sexy.
Yeah.
Really want everyone to. It's not because they're not. It's because something traumatic just happened. Like, they just got a divorce, and that man that was always there is not there. So it's the same thing that happens in every part of your life.
Yeah.
The instant something changes, you try to fill it usually with superficial sort of empty, just shots of self-esteem. You know what I mean?
Material
people
stuff.
can just like the surface of you, and you feel like you feel good.
Because I know people ask us all the time, what made you? We actually just got an email. We got emails about that. That video has gotten a lot of love. Like, a lot of people have really just liked that video, I guess, because it was vulnerable. We just got another email yesterday, a man telling us that it was very vulnerable, and we really appreciate that, because that was probably the hardest video we've made. Because, and the people have asked us before too, why did you want to make that video? Like, why did you want to share that story? Because it is kind of putting yourself out there. And the answer to that is, when Kara and I decided to do these YouTube video things, we knew that we're going to be doing more of a commentary type thing, and just like talking about serious issues. There was never a thought of us just doing like a hair videos or makeup videos. You know what I mean? There's a million of those. Everyone has that. So we always knew we wanted to talk about real subjects and important subjects. So we didn't feel like we could come on camera and talk about these deep issues sometimes and not tell our own story when we were going through something deep. So we just are very allergic to fake. And it just makes us so uncomfortable when I see people being fake, and it makes and I understand why people are sometimes, because it just, the world now, you want to look a certain way, and we just felt like, look, this is who we are. Mentally moving forward is really a matter of accepting what's happened, and then going through it, right, and then I feel like having responsibility and really facing, like, here's your fear, and being truthful with yourself. because if you're going through something hard, you're still trying to make excuses. If you're in the excuse phase, I don't know. You can't do that. It's just much easier just to go in hard and be like, well, this is what happened. I messed that up.
Right.
I got to figure out how to get back on the saddle here because we can't be doing this for too long. And then like getting rid of that ego, and stop being embarrassed and stop worrying about how people. I know it's easy to say, especially when you're first going through it. It's so easy for people to say, but I truly mean that because the moment that I let go of caring about what people think is the moment I felt more free. You know what I mean? I just felt like, okay, I don't really care. I'm living my life. I'm trying to figure this all out. This has never happened before.
Now, not then, but even then though, you know what I mean? But now I don't even watch negative stuff.
That's another thing. Yeah, you're right about that.
I mean, because, and again, with the social media thing, the problem with social media is that, especially when you're in a position like this, you tend to compare yourself to people.
You do. Yeah.
And it makes things worse. You know what I mean? Because if you have a friend that you haven't seen in a long time, or just family members that are doing better than you, or you feel they're doing better than you just by looks alone, then it can paralyze you to do anything, or can make you feel like your life is over. Like I was gonna say, even like with our show, talking, because I didn't really want to tell everyone what was going on, but even with our show, and when people have commented with us, it's like important to stay neutral. How people think about you, because I don't really like to live on, like I said, I don't really like to live on compliments.
Yeah.
And I don't like to live on insults.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was like that saying that says that both of them require you to care about what people think.
Yeah.
Most successful people have lost everything before they became successful.
True.
Most people are successful because they lost everything. Because what I've learned in this situation is how much all these pockets of your life really do add up. You know what I mean? And how you look at money, how you look at relationships, how you look at your body type, how you look at yourself. You know what I mean? Really adds up to where you're going in your life. And most people who are unhappy, it'll show up in their life in some way. Just because even though people are rich, doesn't mean that they're not. Rich people kill themselves. So it doesn't really matter, like because you don't have any money, or you're feeling like broke and alone. But just understand that a lot of wealthy people shoot themselves, and overdose, and are alcoholics. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it really is an inside job.
Which is why I was interested that you asked what we did to move forward mentally, because it's good to know that you want to know that part first, because the financial stuff is going to all be personal. You got to figure that out for yourself. It'll come to you. That part will come to you, but none of that's gonna come to you if you're still a hot mess mentally. I totally get why you asked that question, because, and also, like I think that you do have to do things that are just things that are positive and challenging. So you're going through a challenge. It's always important to do something challenging and not just sit there in your sorrow. I mean, one of the first things that we did when we went through this, we're homeless. So what do you do when you're homeless? You go, maybe you run for the homeless. And that's what we did for the Thanksgiving thing they do in Indiana. We ran the was it like a 5K or something like that? Yeah, something like that, a small little run. And, we did that. And it kind of, when you start serving others for some of the reason, makes you feel like you not sitting there in your own sadness. Other people are having problems too, So I just think you have to do something that's going to mentally make you feel more positive. Yeah. Because it's going to be hard for you to say like positive affirmations for yourself. Do it, because eventually you'll believe it. But it is hard to do that, but it's necessary.
But the good thing about this is a positive thing about social media is that if you go to YouTube, because this is what I do all the time. I still do. I do this. I do this every time I go to work. But I listen to a lot of motivational tapes. I listen to a lot of while I'm working. I listen to a lot of books, audio books. Yeah, things that build you up and make you want to, or things that lead you towards where you want to go. You gotta be around the right people. Yeah, it's sometimes better to be alone than it is to be around a lot of people, or even even your family. Sometimes
your circle of people, if they're negative, they gotta go. I'm sorry, they have to go, because they're just gonna make it even worse. You're already going through something. Last thing you knew is to hear some negative.
I mean, say you want to be a millionaire, but you don't know any.
Yeah.
Listen to them. You can go online and listen to all kinds of millionaires, and they're the way that they talk is much different than the way poor people talk, and it makes you feel differently. It makes you see where you think differently. You know what I mean? If you time, any kind. Listen to athletes. Athletes
I love
have
the
some of the
athletes.
best. They have some of the best mental
Talk about people. Talk about moving
power.
forward
They really
mentally.
is, because they have to.
Athletes,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I mean, you have it all comes down to you. You have to be able to change the way you see yourself.
Yeah.
And that doesn't take a year. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 years. For me, it took a long time.
Took a long time.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm a stubborn person and I don't like to change too much.
Yeah.
But it does. It'll eventually push you to where
Yeah.
you want to go. You can't be the same person anymore. You have to kind of move on. If you want to be different, if you want different, you have to be different. You know, you can't be the same person that's going to get you into the same place. You know, when I remember there was only one time in like when we first lost, when everything first went away. It was only one time I wish God would just have someone come in my life and just fix it. It was one time I felt that way. And I'm glad that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because it kind of shows you that you can get yourself out of things.
Yeah.
And it shows you your own strength and power. And the only reason I would have ever wanted someone to come and change everything is so I wouldn't have to face it.
Yeah.
If I would have gotten pulled out of my situation by somebody else, I would be back in this situation.
Because you didn't learn from it. Yeah, that was the most important part, I think, for me, was that I had to learn from this. But it is kind of like isolating when you realize that, I'm in my, she said she's 40, in her 40s. So, you know, we were pushing 40. We were on our way. And when you see everybody around you, I'm mentioning this, I know you mentioned this to me, when everybody around you, this is the part that's bothering you, I think, the most, is getting married, right? People are having babies. People are moving up the financial ladder, the corporate ladder, the business owners. People have got new keys to their home, you know what I mean, our apartment, I don't care, a car, you know, and then here you are. You got to start all over. I mean, it's unfortunate that you have to go through that, but it's also like, but you're gonna have to. There's something you skipped that you didn't see that got you into the circumstance that you're in.
Sometimes you could ask for something, because I believe in universal laws, and I think that you could have asked for something that you really wanted, and your world, the universe has to shift your world for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there are things that I really wanted, but the way I was living before, I could have never gotten it. Now I'm a lot closer to it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But sometimes your world has to be shifted in order to receive something that you asked for, but you didn't realize it was going to be shifted. Sometimes we want things so badly, and it sounds like fun, and we say we want it, but we don't realize what you have to do to get there. You know what I mean?
You can say it, but you do, yeah. So it takes a lot to
like,
get,
you know what I mean?
Stuff, yeah.
You can be in. You can say I want to have a great marriage, and then you have to go through a lot of losers before you get to a winner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just think it's going to be the next person, but it may not be.
Yeah.
But it's there. It's going to happen. So, you know, everything, like Daniel says, sometimes you can look at things as unfortunate, or you can look at it as not unfortunate.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not unfortunate if it helps you.
Right.
It only feels like scary, and
Yeah.
it feels unfortunate, but it's not really. Nothing is really devastating.
But then things
Not
happen.
really. And
Something
it feels devastating, but most of the time stuff comes out of it. Like, like people have lost their homes in tornadoes, and then they come out of it thinking, you're right, if that never happened,
then
I wouldn't have had this. Sometimes we think the most things that are most devastating in the world end up being the biggest thing, the best thing that ever happened to you.
It's like if you put forth effort, and I think I shared this in that video as well, but I'm going to share because I know we have a lot of new subscribers. It's like when you are putting forth the effort, this is what I've learned through life, and I didn't know this before. When you put forth the effort, the universe just gives it right back to you. But you got to put forth the effort. I'm going to give you an example. So when this first happened, we didn't have money for, everything had to be walking distance, right? Because we had no money for a bus, no money for nothing, right? So I was looking for a job, and I was like going to, I was little, anywhere. I did Pizza Hut. I didn't care. I was going everywhere. And I got to Starbucks, and Starbucks was hiring. However, everything was online. So I couldn't get the job at Starbucks. But I remember, like, I was just so annoyed. It was cold outside, too. I was just so annoyed because I was, like, pounding pavement trying to find something, to get the ball going. Or the wheels were, moving. And I remember just sitting there in Starbucks. and I was like, man, you know, I just need a job. Like, I just need a job. I don't even care what it pays. I really don't. I don't even care what it pays. If I just get a job, I can feel like I'm back into society in some way and just kind of work through it. And I was just sitting there at the booth in Starbucks, and I was looking through my wallet, and I had 10 cents left. Like, this is what I had to my, I had 10 cents left to my name. I had 2 nickels.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a 30-some-odd woman, and I had 2, this is what I had, I was down to nothing. And so that, you know, it was getting later, and business hours were ending, so I just went back to the hotel. So I walked back to the hotel, and when I walked into the door of the hotel owners were there at the front desk, and for whatever reason, they just asked me if I need a job. And they arranged it, you know, to where we can have a place to live. And so now we're not facing homelessness anymore, right? We have a place to live and have work. So now you're starting to feel like in society. So I'm saying is that when you put forth the effort in life, I really feel that the universe will get out of your way and go, here's something. Okay, you did that. Thank you. You're living now. You know what I mean? So I'm going to give you this. Now the next thing is going to be another challenge. And we went through so many challenges, you know, in life. I think that's what life is about, though. It's just about a bunch of obstacles and challenges, not bad all the time. Sometimes just to build character, you know what I mean, and see what you're made of. And, you know, I always felt like I was a pretty resilient person, but I didn't know I was this resilient. I didn't think that I was going to be able to bounce back or something like that. That's a big fumble, y'all. That's a big fumble, you know, so.
Yeah, I mean, we're all students and teachers.
Yeah,
you know
right.
What I mean, and all of us have, you know, out of your pain, you help someone else.
Yeah.
Who's also going to go through exactly what you've gone through, and so you don't know when it's going to be, but you'll always be that. And somebody's pain will be helping you.
Yep.
I mean, stay grateful. You know, I mean, I worked housekeeper at minimum wage 6 days a week, and I remain great. Well, you know, things are different now, but I remain grateful. You know what I mean? Every day, there should be never a job that you think you're too good for. There should be never be, you know, you should be able to humble yourself enough to get where you want to go.
With every scrubbing of the toilets, it just builds character for us. So I feel no shame in any of it, and I think that if you can release that shame from your circumstance, that's the thing though. Shame does really messes everyone up. So if you can release kind of that embarrassment, that shame, I do think you'll be able to move forward and do the next step, and be able to kind of come out of your shell in that way and figure it out. You know, like you said, your story is very similar to us, and it actually is. She doesn't have any children either, so that's another bounce. See what I'm saying? So not everything's bad. At least you don't have kids going through this.
True.
Like, thank God. I mean, like I you know, being a mother is like a dream of mine, but thank God I didn't have to go through it with a child. Right. I mean, what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that's a blessing.
I don't even feel like special with it. Like, you know what I mean? I don't feel like there's any devastation.
No.
There are people who in a way worse in this situation.
Oh, way worse.
So I mean, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't. Not that you should be walking around thinking, at least I don't have it as bad as someone else. But remember that other people who have it much worse than you may even have it, and they're probably more grateful.
Yep. And I believe that you'll get through it. It's just the beginning stages.
Like, you know, it may take you a long time to get out of it, but mentally you're not going to stay.
Yeah.
You're going to eventually mentally want to move out of that part of your life. I mean, it's only so long you can be any place too long.
Yep. True. Thank you guys. Because we still get, you know, it's so funny because we still get comments and DMs and emails about that video, and they're positive, you know, and it's just, thank you. We really appreciate that, because look, not too many people are going to turn to camera and talk about that. That's really a little embarrassing, right? But, you know, we really appreciate it. So let us know if you guys have any stories like that, or have you ever been in a situation like this? I know a lot of people have, so comment below. Let us know what you think. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And that's it. Bye.